Officially welcome everyone to November 2020 Community Board 4 regular monthly meeting and public hearing. We're going to go ahead and get started now that it's 6:10, and we'll go straight into the second public hearing item, which is Karina Lozada, a staff attorney with Communities Resist, talking a little bit more about the Eviction Moratorium, the Tenant Safe Harbor Act, and what to expect going forward. Without further ado, Karina, take it away.
Hi, everyone. My name is Karina Lozada, and I'm a staff attorney with Communities Resist. I'm here to talk about the eviction moratorium and things to expect moving forward and the Safe Harbor Act. I will reserve some time at the end for some questions, but please feel free to jot them down for later on. So, in early March of 2020, Governor Cuomo declared a state of emergency in New York State, and he provided that an eviction moratorium was going to last about 90 days. This was in Executive Order 202.8, and this moratorium has been extended many times, both by executive order and by law. On May 27, 2020, the New York State Legislature passed the Safe Harbor Act to further protect tenants. And basically what the Safe Harbor Act did was it extended the moratorium further. So under the Safe Harbor Act, tenants can raise COVID-related financial hardship as a defense to a non-payment case in court. For tenants sued for rent between March 7, 2020 through stage 4, which has come and gone, but it continues through now, tenants can show that they have financial hardship and the landlord is not allowed to evict the tenant, but can win a money judgment. So what that means is, if it's been proven that you owe rent, the landlord can get a money judgment against you, but is not able to just evict you. So under the original Safe Harbor Act, tenants who owed rent before March 7, 2020 were not included in these protections, but this changed under Governor Cuomo's executive order from September 29th, which is Executive Order 202.66. So basically that included some people who may have had warrants of eviction prior to March 7th, but continued to owe rent, and that allowed them to be under this protection. On September 29th, 2020, Governor Cuomo issued an executive order to expand the Safe Harbor Act to cover tenants with non-payment cases or warrants from before March 7, 2020. So tenants who could show the court that they suffered COVID-19 hardship during the pandemic cannot be evicted until January 1st, 2021. Some of the factors that the court will look at include, but are not limited to, income prior to COVID-19, income during COVID-19, liquid assets, and eligibility of benefits. It's not clear whether the executive order applies to tenants who are in holdover cases. So we can see through the executive order and through the Safe Harbor Act that they mention over and over again non-payment cases, which are summary proceedings for rent, the actual rent that is owed, but not just plain eviction proceedings. So it's not really clear. We want you to note that the executive order only delays evictions for tenants who can show that they suffered COVID-related financial hardship. It doesn't mean that you can't ever get evicted. It just pushes it back to January 1st, 2021. It doesn't stop the court from ordering these tenant evictions. So for example, if today I was in court and the judge said, well, we're going to issue an order of eviction, a warrant of eviction, that's just stayed or held until January 1st, 2021. It doesn't mean that the court is not allowed to issue them. On October 20th, 2020, Governor Cuomo issued another executive order, number 202.70. This extended the eviction moratorium for commercial tenants for non-payment of rent or foreclosure of mortgage due to non-payment of mortgage to January 1st, 2021. So in the beginning of the executive orders, the government was reluctant to issue it for commercial tenants, and we only saw it for residency, but we also see that there is an extension for commercial tenants under this executive order that was dated October 20th, 2020. Finally, last week or 2 weeks ago, there was another executive order on November 3rd, executive order number 202.72, that ended a toll for the time limit to start cases. So from the beginning, there was a toll to start cases, to file or serve any legal actions, any notices, any motions. And little by little, that was getting pushed back and allowed for like emergency cases where tenants had repairs and the like. Also, in October, some cases were allowed to proceed that were already filed. But now we see that there's no more statute of limitations where the time is not told and everything needed to be filed by November 4th. That was basically told from March 7th till now. And this executive order also modified Section 732 and 743 of the Real Property Actions and Proceeding Law. Basically, that law gave tenants a certain time limit to answer a non-payment summary proceeding. And so for any non-payment cases that were filed before November 3rd, tenants are afforded 60 days or at least until January 2nd, 2021. There's some confusion about the actual timing because it does limit it to November 3rd. And there were subsequent orders from the judiciary branch that kind of like confuses it. I'll talk about it later to show the differences. In September, the CDC on a federal level issued a national moratorium on evictions for non-payment of rent until December 31st, 2020. So the difference between the federal moratorium and the New York moratorium is that the New York moratorium gives more protection. It gives a few more days. The federal moratorium would not apply. It only applies to those states and to those cities that have given less protections. But just for the purposes of talking about the moratorium, the federal moratorium that's covered, tenants need to give landlords a sworn declaration or an affidavit that says that they have tried everything in their power to get government help to pay their rent, that they have income less than $99,000, did not have to pay income tax in 2019 or receive the stimulus check. They also have to swear that they can't pay due to income loss or any extraordinary out-of-pocket medical expenses. They would have to swear that they would become homeless or need to live in close quarters in another residence if they're evicted, and that they promise to pay their landlord as much as they can, keeping other essential expenses in mind. All tenants should get legal advice before submitting this declaration because it could have legal consequences after the moratorium ends. But of course, because New York has more protections, this affidavit is not required under the New York State and New York City moratorium. This is just what the federal guidelines would look like. What if I receive a notice of eviction? Well, marshals and sheriffs will be able to evict tenants in holdover cases and non-payment cases where the tenant cannot show COVID-19 financial hardship. So the key is to be able to show that before March 7, 2020, you had an income that was X. After March 7, 2020, it has diminished and now it's lower. And because of that, you were not able to pay your rent. That is the way to toll your eviction and to move it back to January 1st, 2021. So marshals cannot evict those tenants for non-payment of rent if they can show a court that they have suffered COVID-19 financial hardship. And again, that's January 1st, 2021. That's the first day that they can evict. All pre-COVID notices of eviction were invalidated by the moratorium. That doesn't make it expired. That just means that the landlord would have to attend court and continue to seek permission to move forward. So that way they would be able to evict after the moratorium date. If you receive a marshal's notice or notice of eviction at any point, you must contact the court to file an order to show cause. Basically what that is, it's a motion that will stop the eviction from going forward, and that will allow you to plead your defenses if you have COVID hardship. We'll talk about what marshal's notices and notices of eviction look like a little bit later. Right here. So this is what a marshal's notice looks like. Usually they're on yellow or pink paper, depending on the copy. And it will show you like what your name is and what the case is. It'll show you who you can contact, who your marshal is, and the date of the notice at the bottom. The notices used to be 6 days, but I believe now they're 14-day notices. But in any event, you need to contact either a law office to know your rights, contact the court immediately, because you don't want the time to pass where, unfortunately, you might be facing eviction, because the moratorium is specifically for people who can show COVID-related hardship. So you don't want to let time pass and not do anything where you could be evicted if you're not showing this hardship. What about housing court? So courts are open for limited circumstances. That means not a lot of people can physically go into a courthouse. So it's open for people without attorneys to file new cases, for example, pro se tenants and pro se landlords, including tenants who want to file for repairs. Courts are also doing some in-person trials at 320 J Street for cases that started before March 17, 2020, but that depends on the court's schedule and all that good stuff. Answers by tenants without a lawyer don't have to be filed in court, even though you certainly can, but you can file your answer over the phone. Tenants are given a phone number to call to respond to court papers in the papers themselves, and you can call that number to file your answer. Courts have moved forward with all types of cases, not just emergency cases. So a few months ago, they were only hearing emergency cases, but as of now, they're hearing all cases, even those that were filed after March 16, 2020. Most appearances can be done virtually. You can seek a virtual appearance where you're appearing like we are on video. However, they are still scheduling in-person appearances for those who either don't want to or cannot appear virtually. What about new eviction cases? So as of November 4th, and even a little bit before that, maybe October 13th, landlords can file new eviction cases as required by law. So before, there was still like some prerequisites that landlords had to do where like service was in a different way, but right now, as of November 4th, everything has returned to usual. The only difference is now landlords have to put the notice on colored paper, and it must include a notice to the tenants telling them that they have more time to respond if that's the case. So this was before November 3rd, where you had 60 days, and also how to get legal services or more information. Landlords with attorneys either have to file their cases using the e-filing system or by mail, whereas landlords without attorneys can file in person. They're allowed to go into the courthouse. If a landlord's attorney asks you to consent to e-filing, you don't have to consent if you don't have a lawyer, but if you wish to, you should consent with a lawyer to see if that is a good option for you. Once an eviction case is filed, tenants will be asked to answer by phone. So they're trying to limit all the tenants who are going to the courthouses, even if you are pro se and you can. And so they're trying to encourage everyone to do their answers by phone. Again, for cases that are filed after November 30th, you would only have 10 days to answer a non-payment proceeding according to the unified court system. So Judge Marks issued a memorandum yesterday that states that everything is going back to normal. So the normal 10 days to answer is going to apply for everything after November 4th. Only respondents of non-payment cases that were filed before November 3rd can enjoy the 60-day extension or until January 2nd, 2021. If a tenant does not respond to a petition within the allotted time, the landlord can get a default judgment. So this is something that is new that happened yesterday. Prior to yesterday, even if a tenant wasn't able to show up virtually or show up to court, they were not being defaulted. But because of this memorandum by Judge Marks, everything has returned to business and landlords can get a default judgment. What happens in eviction cases started before March 17th? So again, all cases are being moved forward, but all cases have to have a court date before a judge, before anything else happens. So if you don't have your due date before a judge, then nothing should really be happening in your case, but you want to make sure that you're not missing any court cases. So even if there is a case where a warrant of eviction is happening, you have to come before a judge again before the judge can decide whether they're going to refresh that warrant or whatever it is. Cases should proceed virtually whenever appropriate, but of course, there is that option to go into court. At the court date, the judge has to review the impact of COVID on the tenant and possible relief. They had to refer tenants to a legal services organization or try to resolve the case. So this would be your opportunity to let the judge know, let the court know that you have suffered COVID hardship, so that way you are able to be under the eviction moratorium. Where possible, you can and probably should sign an affidavit that attests to COVID-19 hardship. Again, this is not based on the CDC guidelines. It's just something where you're showing the court that it's a sworn statement that you have lost income. But of course, you should always talk to an attorney before doing that. But it is one way that you can attest to your COVID-related hardship so you can benefit from the Safe Harbor Act. After the court date, the court can take all the steps that ordinarily happen in a court case. That means they can adjourn the case, they can schedule a trial, they can order an eviction. As soon as the court date is over, it's up to the judge's discretion to decide what's happening to the case. The court does have to take into account any protections against evictions that the tenant has under the state or the federal law. So that's all of the things that we have been talking about with the executive orders, the Safe Harbor Act, and the like. What happens in eviction cases that started before March 17th continued? So as of June 22nd, all the proceedings that were dated before March 17th were allowed to move forward. Only emergency proceedings were allowed to be filed by tenants, but right now everything is game. The courts are handling these cases at a slower pace. So right now they're trying to do the backlog, those cases that were told before March 17th, but trials and court appearances are still being scheduled virtually or in person. In New York City, if the court schedules a court date, whether it's virtual or in person, and tenants do not attend, the tenant could be held in contempt and even have an eviction order issued against them when they're not there. So again, defaults are moving forward, and this is new. This was decided yesterday. And so it is very, very important that you hold your court dates. For new cases, again, Judge Marks provided in his memorandum that the service requirements return to normal for anything that's filed after November 3rd. So if you receive court papers, it's very important to respond to the court papers and contact a lawyer. Contact the lawyer first, see what your rights are, see if you can call in for an answer, all that good stuff. But it's important not to sit on it because default judgments are moving forward. If you're seeking repairs, the HP part is open, and if you have any conditions or violations in your home, you can start a case. You don't have to wait for it to be an emergency. They're not just doing emergency cases, but you can begin an HP proceeding against your landlord to force the landlord to make the repairs and to correct building violations. So starting June 22nd, tenants could file for repairs, not just emergency repairs. And so if you're filing without an attorney, you can get a template from the court, like by going in person or calling, or you can go online to justfix.nyc website, and they actually have a really easy way where you can just like have your information put in and they pre-fill out the form for you. If you're unable to start a case remotely, you can go to court and file in person. I'll protect myself. So one major thing is contacting a community-based organization or a lawyer's office like Communities Resist. We're doing brief advice, and so you can definitely contact us. If you're not sure what organizations are around you, you can check for latest updates on the moratorium at Right to Counsel, and you can like try to Google what's in your area. Know your options. That's very important. So if you are suffering COVID hardship, you can apply for a one-shot deal. You can wait and see what the recent legislations to see if like there will be like a cancel rent or something or other. You can try to work out a payment plan with your landlord by trying to negotiate, and you can definitely inform your landlord and the court about your financial hardship. Make sure that you document everything. That's very important. Log repairs, log any harassment, log any retaliation. If you receive any notices, log how you receive them, when you receive them. And it's important to keep photographs and videos. And if you can, have audio recordings. Just as much information as possible, just in case there is a court case, you have the evidence with you. Who should seek out help? Anyone who cannot pay their rent, is struggling to get repairs, or is facing eviction, or even if you have a question about your rights. It doesn't hurt to seek out information, and it doesn't matter whether you're a NYCHA tenant, whether you have Section 8, whether you receive city FEPS. whether you're eligible for SCREE or DREE, if you have building-wide or apartment-wide or emergency repairs. Anyone and everyone should reach out and know your rights, because you don't know if you'll need it later on. You can get help at community-based organizations. Again, Los Sures in Williamsburg, St. Nick's, as well Communities Resist, which does Brooklyn, Queens, including Bushwick. You can contact your local council member, New York City, the public advocates, the mayor's office. All of these places will definitely put you in contact with a community-based organization or an attorney that can help you. Additional resources could be unemployment insurance, if you qualify, any public benefits or one-shot deal on HRA, food programs as well. The school grab and go, also Los Sures right there in Williamsburg has a food pantry. And if you go on the Coalition for the Homeless website, there's other resources that can probably be useful to you. And that is the culmination of my presentation. So if there's any questions, you can definitely ask them now, but also take down the Communities Resist telephone number. If there are any case-specific questions, you can call us there and an attorney will reach out to you with a brief advice.
Questions from the board?
Yeah, I have a question on Celeste. Corina, I'm feeling Ceballos. Correct me if I'm wrong. My question is, you mentioned before, tenants can go to the court without a lawyer. Now, my question is, if the tenant can pay a lawyer or can get a legal aid, what they can do?
Okay, so tenants that want to appear pro se and don't want a lawyer can definitely go to court so that way they're not defaulted. They can also ask the court for time to get an attorney, and then that's where you would call Right to Counsel or one of our organizations that I mentioned to see if you can get free legal counsel. So right now, Communities Resist, we are providing free legal counsel. Usually we do groups, but in special occasions, we might do individuals. And so if we can't help you, we also know other organizations that might be able to. So it would help if you wanted to go to court and appear, just so you're not defaulted and say, I need extra time. Legal aid could possibly assist you. Communities Resist could possibly assist you. And you can probably just shop around if you do want an attorney.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Are you guys familiar with something on here? Are you guys familiar with the tax abatement that these people will lose out on their homes? The moratorium in regards to the tax abatement of water or sewer?
That I'm not particularly familiar with. I know that they did do a moratorium for foreclosures if you can't pay your mortgage, but I'm not really sure about the tax abatement. I would probably have to do some research. And since you're one of our clients, Mr. Camacho, we can get back to you pretty soon.
Oh, you know that, huh?
I do know.
I'm gonna have to watch you now. And you do wonderful work, and it's also take advantage of you guys and make sure that you continue to get funding, because funding is very important to you guys, because you guys help a lot of people in Bushwick. My question to you, if I may, how many people in Bushwick have there been, or the issues now compared to the COVID? Are we having a big turnout? How is the percentage in Bushwick?
I don't know numbers per se, but it's affecting a lot of people. And so we've had a lot of people in Bushwick and Williamsburg, everywhere, basically, even in East New York, reaching out to us for brief advice. And so this is why when I was asked to do this presentation, I really wanted to, because there's a lot of changes that have been happening since March, and it happens very frequently, and it's affecting almost everyone, and it's important for everyone to know their rights. And so sometimes they don't know where to go, but that's why we're here to try to bring it to you, because it's horrible, the things that we're seeing.
Hey everyone, this is Celeste. Just a quick note, Karina, yes, when you're not speaking, just because there's a bit of an echo on your end, if you could mute. And then I have a few people, I want to make sure that I have board members on. If they're on, there are some folks that called in. I just want to make sure I have the right phone numbers. Just bear with me one moment. I have a 917-328. If you can just identify yourself, please. 917-328.
Yes.
Who is? Are you a resident or are you a board member?
Yeah, I'm on resident.
A resident. Okay, I'm going to put you back on mute. Thank you for joining us. All right. One moment. I also have 718-919. 718-919.
That's me, Kelly, Carlotta.
Oh, gotcha, Carlotta. I'm going to leave you unmuted so you control your sound now.
Okay.
And I have 347-351. 347-351.
Hello?
Hello?
It's Monique. Yes, Monique Chandler Woman.
Got you. Okay, perfect.
I have to do this. Sometimes I have issues with sound, so I have to do the login plus the computer plus the phone just as a backup. Okay?
Okay, got it. I'm gonna leave you unmuted then.
Okay.
And then I see, hold on one second, I believe 347-988. 347. Gotcha, Barbara. All right. I'm gonna make a note. I'll put you back on mute now. (917-701).
That's me, Isaiah.
Okay, got you, Sire.
Thank you.
You're unmuted. Okay. 347-335. 347-335. Are you there? Okay. Thank you everyone for your patience. We just want to make sure we have all of the board members, and I do have to cross-reference all of these numbers behind the scenes. All right, and I have a 917-328. That is the, okay, I have you. Okay, got it. All right, any other questions for Karina? Thank you, folks. All right, going once, going twice. Folks in the public, I see there's some Q&A questions here. If you enter them into the chat in the Q&A, I'll take a look. All right, I do see one. Just give me 1 second so I can pull this up. Can Judge Mark's decision / memorandum be overruled by the state? It's one of the questions.
So if the legislature decides something else and it becomes law, then sure. But usually administrative orders and executive orders are temporary. And so unless the state legislature does something else, the administrative order stays in effect, because even if the governor decides to do another executive order, they kind of technically have to coincide. And so Marx's memorandum does reference a lot of Cuomo's executive orders. And as we can see, like, they're kind of playing tit for tat for who can do what. But for the most part, they kind of coincide together. So I guess the short answer is yes, if there's a law, but because this is something that's different and it's in a state of emergency, I don't think that another law other than the safe harbor law would be passed just to figure out how the courts are going to function. Usually the administrative orders by the unified court system are about how the court is going to function, and it governs that. I hope that answered the question.
All right. I don't see any other questions in the chat or in the Q&A. If there are any other questions, now is the time. And if we don't get to your question today, that's okay. We can always send a follow-up email. Feel free to reach out to the board's office. All right. So I don't see anything else.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. We'll
Thank
go ahead
you,
and we'll move on
Verena.
to our
Thank
second.
you.
Yes, we'll move on to our second agenda item. We do have Ms. Chandler Waterman on. Let me see if I can make you a panelist. All right. You should be able to share video and any materials you have now. And just let me transfer. Monique, are you there?
Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello? Yes, we can.
Okay, hopefully this works. I have to use my, oh no. Hello? Hello?
We can hear
you
you.
hear me?
Yes.
Okay, and you can see me, right? I have to use both. Okay, so good night, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. Unfortunately, in this day of technology, I still don't have WebEx down pat, and my computer was giving me issues. So thank y'all so much for your patience. My name is Monique Chandler Waterman. I'm the Brooklyn Outreach Director for Helping Hospitals Test and Trace. I've been working with the company for now about 6 weeks. And as we know, this is a new campaign in total because of COVID-19. I do have a presentation. Let me see if it will allow me to share it without any issues. Give me 1 second. Let me see. Okay. I just want to give everybody my information just in case you do want to reach out to me. You can take a picture of the screen, and I can also put in a chat if it allows me. But my number is 646-847-5327, and my email address is not quite my last name. It's WATER, M as in Mary, A, M as in Mary. That's not a typo. It is M as in Mary, at nychhc.org. So I'll give people time to take a picture of that or write down those numbers and information, email. So my job is mainly to connect with the community stakeholders like yourself, make sure that we are amplifying the message of test and trace, making sure people are safe when it comes to prevention with COVID-19, and they know ways to partner, and that we make sure that people that are on the ground that know the community is in the conversation and is up to date as much as possible. So some of the partnership may look like partnering for a particular event, giving out literature for COVID-19 prevention, giving out masks, and things of that nature. So I'm going to go into a little bit about what our campaign is doing now and certain things that we need to know. I know some of it is we know already, and there's a lot of repetitive, but as a campaign, we try to make sure we get the message out as much as possible because there are people still not quite understanding what's happening and various things when it comes to COVID-19. So we know COVID-19 and coronavirus disease is one and the same, and its common symptoms is 2 to 14 days after exposure. But we now know you can have no type of symptoms at all and still have COVID-19. So the symptoms that traditionally we talk about is the cough, the shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, fever, sore throat, loss of taste or smell. It could be one of those things, all those things, or none of those things. So we just want to make sure people are not having a false pretense that I don't have any of these symptoms, so therefore I do not have COVID-19. And that's why it's very important that we promote wearing masks above your nose, covering your mouth, and also washing your hands. Stay home if you're feeling sick or you feel off in any type of way, and also the 6 feet distance, social distance, and also getting tested. Because like I said, you can have no symptoms and have COVID-19. So isolation and quarantine sound like very harsh words, staying at home and away from people, but it does have a very big impact on reducing transmission, and it stops the chain of, COVID spreading. So right now we know we have an uptick when it comes to COVID in certain zip codes, and I believe you're on zip code 11207, correct? And right now the positivity rate, yes?
There are several zip codes. Yeah, 11207, 237, 221. and 206.
Okay, at the end I could give you all that, but I didn't definitely know for 11207, the positivity rate right now is 3.6%. So this community board area, especially where you're located, definitely is on the watch list when it comes to the cases upticking with COVID-19. So if like we know, you stop one case, you could stop many cases, and that's what our biggest concern is when it comes even for the holidays coming up. We know that people want to gather. We are, socially starved, right, with the physical distance. But if the person doesn't live in your house or they're not your everyday life, we would not want to have them over for Thanksgiving dinner or for the holidays, unfortunately, because you're not sure where they've been or what they've been exposed to. We want to keep it to the people that are in your household for this particular for the holidays especially, because people are more, they really want to have that contact. So we do have a safe tips for the holidays that I definitely shared with you, Celeste, and also I can see if I could put it up on the screen. So we just want to make sure people isolating. If it's positive, you'll get like a phone call, and quarantine if you feel you've been exposed or you're not feeling well, please stay home. So you should get tested. I know before when everything first started, right, with COVID, there was you only get tested if you have symptoms. So you get tested. We're recommending at least once a month. All New Yorkers should get tested for COVID-19, whether you have symptoms or not, right? So we want to make sure that happens. And we're seeing cases, of course, in the younger people under 18 years old. We're trying to promote even more testing. I know it's kind of hard because sometimes their parents may be at work and they can't take them to get tested, but we're trying to figure out what's the best way to make that happen as well. And we want to make sure we know when it comes to, at first, it was like, well, certain people of color, they're not really getting exposed. So we know that that's a falsehood, and equity matters. Immigrant New Yorkers and New Yorkers of color are disproportionately impacted by COVID-19 because of underlying health issues. So also we talk about healthy eating, doing the best we can, making sure that we get tested, making sure we follow the 4 cores that I did mention before when it comes to COVID-19. Let me go to the next one. So a lot of people I've been in contact and been speaking to in the street saying, I do not want to get tested, it's uncomfortable. And I said, do you have a mom at home? Do you have someone that's elderly? And they say yes to that. And I said, well, think about you doing it for them, because you may be able to survive COVID-19, but maybe not that elderly person, your neighbor, or somebody you may be in contact with. So if you are a person that want to also help promote this message and convince others to get tested and make sure they take the proper precautions, sometimes we care more about other people than ourselves. So that's a way to also make sure the message gets out there, and we talked about that. There is a website, I'm not sure if everybody knows about it, but if you go to nyc.gov/COVID test, which is on the screen, you can plug in your address and it will give you all the nearest testing sites. They will tell you the hours of operation, if they have rapid testing, if they have what ages, because some people don't do under a certain age. So they tell you all that important information that you could find out. And we also have mobile sites that's in certain places for like a week. Like for instance, Cypress Hills houses, you have a testing site, I believe from 10 to 4. I think it's 1250 Sutter Avenue, if I'm not mistaken. You have a testing site there for the week, but then we have brick and mortar sites that's kind of there on a more permanent basis for now at those on the website that you could check out for. We also have something called micro sites. So micro sites is something very new. We don't have it in our presentation yet. Is self-testing, and it was something that we started off with home kits. So you could take a COVID-19 home kit home, get tested, turn the results in by FedEx or by the Postal Service. However, a lot of people wasn't sending that back. So we're doing self-testing where we can set up, like, for instance, let's say in front of a community board office, we have a health and hospital staff. You can have that event in front of the office as a way of partnership. And what they do is they'll take information to iPad, they'll take your email. Within 24 hours, you will get the test results, but they'll do like a swab in your nose yourself. You would do that yourself. So some people like that test them better because they feel they have more control and it'll be more comfortable for them. So that's some of the options with testing that we have. And I don't know if everybody knows, they have rapid testing from anywhere from 15-minute test results and from 30 minutes and on. That's also when you go to nyc.gov/COVID test, you can find out who's doing self-testing, who has rapid tests. All of that is on that website. So in the event someone from Test and Trace call you, please answer the call, find out what they're saying. I know people have anxiety of what's going on, but all we can control is what we can control by following the 4 cores, staying safe and healthy, and pick up the phone and figure out what's going on so we can see the best way we can work with you. So please, if you see NYC, it will look like the screen I just showed you. Please answer that call. We just want to make sure people are safe. So if someone is tested positive, we have free resources during isolation or quarantine to help people stay safe and prevent more people from getting sick. So if you're in a household and you do not have a safe place to be where you could quarantine or isolate, there is hotels for free that we do have, which is our Take Care. So we have Test, we have Trace, and we have Take Care. We have food delivery service, medication delivery, and then you let us know what else you may need. I was with one of my team members, and they said, hey, I actually called somebody that was positive. I was checking on them. They was having difficulties breathing. I was able to guide them to get in resources right on the spot. And this part, save someone's life, make them feel more comfortable, and make sure people know they're not alone. So we want to make sure you are taken care of during this time. Now, we talked about partnerships, and part of the partnership, as I spoke about, is doing events. Like we did one at 799 Van Sicklen Avenue. I don't think that's in your area, and Euclid Avenue train station. I think that's close by you. And what we did was we gave out masks, and we also gave out this literature that you see on the screen, how to prevent the spread of COVID-19. So the 4 cores is what you see on the screen. Stay home if you're sick, keep physical distance, wear a face covering, and keep your hands clean, and then, of course, get tested. We also want to make sure people avoid large gatherings, and want to make sure that they do, like we said, answer the call if you do get a call from Test and Trace. So this flyer has 2 sides. I don't have the other side up, but the other side just tells you about the phone calls and different things like that. So when we give out a mask, we give out the literature, and we say, hey, the nearest testing site is, and we give them that information or direct them to go to the website. And like I said, once a month is what we are saying is recommended. So getting the word out, we need help getting the word out. And who's best to get the word out but community members like yourself? So that's why we partner with community stakeholders. I or my team member, we have canvassers that's in particular all over the city that go out and give out masks. They may not be from the neighborhood, but if I'm able to partner, we're able to partner with the organization, a community board, and we are able to have the canvassers come. They feel is more credible. They know who you are. They will engage more. They will have conversations that they're probably afraid to have or don't know how to have just because we're partnering with a community board or a community-based organization. So we welcome partnership, and partnership doesn't have to be so complicated. It could be as simple as putting up a table, putting out the mask, putting out the literature, and we're out there standing out for maybe an hour or 2, giving out in front of the office, giving out our masks. It could be setting up a self-testing site. It could be giving out literature on a particular day. It could be how we think it could best reach your community members, and also what you have capacity for. So we just want to make sure this is done the best way that you, as experts in your community, as credible messages, think is best. So I hope that you can we have Get Tested Tuesdays, days of action, where it was a nice theme to put out there where everybody said, okay, it's Tuesday, let's make sure we get tested, and we send a team out and we go to different areas, and we do a lot of events when it comes to Tuesday. That's something that the mayor pushes a lot, helping hospitals, and you will see a lot of media coverage around that because it's one of the days that is it draws a lot of people to get tested as a campaign to make sure people are out getting tested. So how we stay connected. We are on social media. We have, hold on one second, let me move this over. We have social media handles, hashtag NYC Test and Trace and Fight COVID NYC. So hashtag Fight COVID NYC on Instagram and Twitter. And we did talk about the nyc.gov/COVID test, or you could text COVID test to 855-48 to find a testing location. So we have test-and-trace.nyc. To find out more information, you call 311. And for those who may be in a zone, which are not you're on a watch list, is you go to nyc.gov/COVID zone. So you would change test to zone, and you put in an address, and it would tell you all the areas, what colors is around you, what's the restrictions in those areas. It will show you a map as well. So this way you can stay abreast to information that's happening directly in your community. So that ends this presentation, and I will take any questions if anybody have any questions for me. And sorry?
Go ahead.
Hello?
We can hear you. Questions from the board?
No, I don't have a question. I just like the idea. I just like the idea that if I don't like no one in my family to come to my house, I have an excuse not to tell them to come home.
Be nice about it. Be nice about it. Yes, because we definitely, we're hoping that this can end as soon as possible. But the best way is for us to follow and be disciplined during this time, even though it's difficult. And I am sorry. We could do virtual events, right? We could decorate outside our house and everybody could wave. We could do caroling outside the house. There's different ways that you can engage without being physically, I hate saying the word physically, but that's the best way I can describe it. And I don't know if you're able to, do you see what I have on the screen as far as testing?
Mm-hmm.
So we have flyers like this. We'll be sending out with all. We do have the website, but some people are very visual. They want the flyer. So this is a flyer of all of the testing sites we have in Brooklyn. So the ones at the top is the sites that we always say brick and mortar. That means that they're there more than a week. But as you go down to the bottom, it says mobile testing sites from the 16th to 20th. So we know some of these testing sites may not be walking distance from people's home. So what we did was we found, like we have one at Cypress Hills, which I believe is close by, y'all. We set up these sites by request. You may say, hey, we don't have a lot of testing, we need one, and then we would put it in certain areas based on need, based on what's on a watch list. However, with the mobile testing site, if it's below 50 or if it's raining, inclement weather, they're not going to be open for that day. So that's why we make sure that people know the brick and mortar sites. And the self-testing sites also would vary. And the self-testing is where you do it yourself. So I just want to make sure people have that information. I'll email it too so it can be shared out as well.
Okay.
Sorry, I hope I didn't take up too much time. Do anybody else have questions? Do I have time for that still?
I have a question, Celine.
Go ahead.
Monique, my name is Felix Ceballos. You mentioned the city recommend people make the text once a month. My question is, that's for anybody, and also they can get the text without symptoms?
Yes. So whether you have symptoms or not, you get a test, and it could be for anybody. So you just basically go to the testing site, you get the test done. If you feel you want to get it more than once a month, you're welcome to do so as well. But we're promoting testing. So you should have no barriers. If you do, you could definitely call 301. You could call me directly if someone is giving you any type of issues with that, but you should not have any problems with that. And it's at no cost. I want to say that too, because some places may ask you for your insurance. But if you do not have insurance, you should not be turned away or charged. Nothing should come out your pocket to pay for COVID testing.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Does anybody else have any questions?
We do have some questions from the public. I have one here. Are self-tests and or rapid tests free? So I know you mentioned it, but just to reiterate.
Okay, so if we say at no cost, because if you have insurance, they'll take your insurance.
Got it.
If you do not have insurance, you would not be charged. You should not be charged, and if you are, you call 311. And there's go to nyc.gov/COVID test to find, even if you just want to go to health and hospitals place that you know you definitely won't be tested. You won't be, charged that.
Got it. And then another question, have you done any partnerships with community organizations in Bushwick? Do you have any planned upcoming partnerships?
Okay, in Bushwick, right now we are looking for partnerships as we have watch lists, and we also, even if you're not in a zone or the watch list, we still want Bushwick. I have not entered what zip code. Is that a follow-up question to ask?
Yeah, so they didn't specify their zip code,
Okay.
but yeah, just within Bushwick.
They could reach out to me and we could talk about partnership if I haven't done in that area as well.
Excellent.
So we're looking for partnerships in various areas. We are throughout the city. I cover Brooklyn, but my colleagues, if you know somebody else, my colleagues, I could connect you to other boroughs as well.
Got it. Okay. Any other questions? Going once, going twice. Thank you very much for joining us.
Okay, thank you. I have one question. Oh, somebody have a question?
No. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you give me the zip codes for your community board if you have it to hand? If not, you can email it to me.
Sure. 11207, 11237, 11206, and 11221.
Okay. All right. So I will look at that and I'll email you the positivity rates in those areas. Okay?
Got it. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Look forward to working with y'all. Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. So that concludes our public hearing portion for this evening. Again, if there were any questions that we didn't get to, we will certainly follow up and we'll make sure you get an answer. Feel free to all attendees, please use the chat feature if you have any information you'd like to share. If you have questions, you can use the Q&A tab, question and answer tab. We will be looking at them throughout the meeting. I also want to just say to everyone, if you're calling in, there may be a moment where I have to pause to cross-reference these phone numbers. I am keeping an active look on the attendance page. We should have everyone that's joined with us this evening on. If for whatever reason you're not, I will be taking another look. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started with our regular meeting this evening. We have our first roll call. Let me pull up our attendance sheet. Board members, please be ready to unmute yourselves and then to mute again if you need to. All right, starting from the top, Reverend Grace Aites.
Present.
Thank you. Joshua Brown.
Present.
Raul Brown. Raul Brown. Robert Camacho.
Present.
Cartier Caphart.
Present.
Raul Brown, present.
Got you, Raul. Got you. Melissa Carrera is excused. Felix Ceballos.
Present.
Louisa Chan.
Present.
Andrew Choi is excused. Daniela Davi.
Present.
Alvina Davis.
Present.
Victoria Fernandez. James Fitzgerald is excused. Freddie Fowler. Freddie Fowler. Okay. Igadi Gomez. Igadi Gomez. Got you.
Present.
Got you, Igadi.
That's me, present.
Gotcha. Ann Guiney.
Present.
Reverend Migdalia Gutierrez. Jose Guzman.
Present.
Tanisha Honeygan.
Present.
Barbara Jackson.
Present.
Kristen Jock. Kristen Jock. Cheryl Jones. Virgie Jones.
Present.
Luisa Jose.
Present.
Mary McClellan. Mary McClellan, you there? All right, she was there earlier.
She was there.
Yep. Desmond Monroe. Emmy Namir.
Present.
Tuma Navoa.
Present.
Asaya Polite,
Present.
Gladys Pulia, Raul Rubio,
Present.
Julio Salinas, Bernardina Shell, Dustin Somborn,
Present.
Annette Spellin,
Present.
Jerry Valentine. I saw Jerry earlier. Jerry Valentine. Carlotta Williams.
Present.
James Wiseman. Oldhoff Wright. Okay. Let me just make sure that no one accidentally got bumped off. Okay. All right, I see Jerry. 1 second. All right, Jerry. You should be a panelist now, Jerry, just in case.
Hi, yes, this is Jerry. I'm here.
I got you. I'm taking a look at the list.
Thank you. Okay.
All right, that should be everyone. Again, if there are folks that have called in, I apologize. I'm going to go back through my list once we move on with the meeting, and I'll make sure that you're recorded as present. Just bear with me. All right, let me do the count. "26 board members present. That constitutes a quorum. Thank you, everyone. Moving us down now to the second agenda item. We have acceptance of the agenda. Is there a motion from the board?
Robert Camacho, so move.
I second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Moved. Acceptance of the previous meeting minutes. The board does have the previous meeting minutes. They were not reviewed in time for this meeting. However, they'll be shared after this meeting. So if there's a motion to table from the board,
And that's spelling motions to table the minutes.
okay.
Second.
Thank you, Reverend Nates. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. Moving on now, our chairperson's report, Mr. Camacho.
I hope everyone's doing well. I missed all of ya. I love you all so. Let's all be safe. Make sure that if you're visiting grandma or grandpa or whoever you're visiting, that you stay safe and that you leave it safe. Or you can use the weapon. It's terrible for you to go see her on Thanksgiving Day, and then on December she might be buried. So you got to make sure that we stay together and keep all our people safe. That's the most important. I miss all of y'all, and I wish y'all all a nice Thanksgiving and holiday. We know it's gonna be rough, but we'll get through this, and we'll meet each other physically, and hopefully we'll get a vaccination, all of us, and get the shots in, and we'll be all right. As to the board members, I want to reiterate, please, attendance, committees, quorums. We need people to come to their committees and attend these meetings, and your attendance is very, very important, as you see in the bylaws. And we have a couple of people that will be receiving letters as per the bylaws in regards to their attendance. We're not going to put anyone on the spot now, but there's a couple of people that will be receiving letters. Please, we need you. And if you're going to be excused, we need to know the reason why you're going to be excused. You know, don't call, I'm going to go to shopping or I'm going to go to a club and go party. No, you got to give us an excuse. And any excuse from absences is illness, a death in your family, or accident, or religious observance or work obligations. You know, please, we need y'all guys signed up for this. I'm sorry I have to be hard because I don't want y'all board members. As soon as it's time for the borough president to review this, that you guys he doesn't accept you and be removed from the board. So we really, really need to if you're on this and you're for the community, to stick to sign for. Also, the monthly meetings are just for the public hearings and for the regular board meetings. We prepare an agenda and community input during the public hearing, all for the full board members to review, and committee meetings to report and to vote on recommendation. If there's any issue from outside that has anything, any complaint, any issue, the board office is open. The office is not open. You can call 718-800 issues that you may have, and we'll conduct you to the committee or the chairing committee. Also, chairpersons in committees, you must schedule your committee meetings and work with Celeste. Please, 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 please. And if you're doing your minutes or your report in your minutes, let her know that you're doing it. And if you're not going to do it and you forgot about it, let us know ahead of time, because we need to get these reports and these things done. And we need all of you to be on the same page. I'm sorry that I'm being so harsh, because we worked in our bylaws to make sure that before everybody was going to all these meetings and people were complaining that there were too many meetings, and we worked it where it makes it easier for everyone to go to only 2 meetings. If you're the chair of a committee and you go to the executive board and the board meeting, those are the only people that have 3 meetings. But if you're only a member of a committee, you only got to go to the full board meeting and your committee that you go. So you go to 1 committee. If you can't do 3, don't do 3. If you could do 2, do 2. But if you could do 1, do 1. We want you to do 1. Until you get the going, especially the new people, don't commit to something that you can't do. Please. Please. And that's the end of that one. But I'm going to give you the meetings. I were on Zoom, and some I wasn't on Zoom. I'm on October 22nd on Thursday at 5 p.m. Me, Celeste, Antonio Reynoso, as Chief of Staff, we met with the Nightlight Commission on Jefferson and Wyckoff. We walked around because you see our businesses, everything is closing down, and some of these people are having a hard time. And that rent moratorium, and some of these people, we might be going back to the 60s and 80s where everything was abandoned, because people are having a hard time. Believe me, we're gonna have to do a lot of work. October 23rd on Friday, the FYI 2020 budget consultation from the Board of Education and Schools Construction. October 26th, Monday, the Youth and Education Committee at 6 o'clock. October 27th, Tuesday, 3 p.m. We used the Knickerbocker Plaza. It was wonderful. We had FDNY there giving out, I was with them, giving out batteries for smoke alarms. We were giving out the fire hats, the plastic fire hats, and information in regards to fires and extension cords. It was real good. We gave out close to 300 to 400 batteries. We had a good turnout over there in the Plaza Knickerbocker. So it was very useful. And I went there myself with them, and we sat there. I think I sent Celeste a picture to put it on the newsletter. On the October 27th, on Tuesday at 6 p.m., the House and Land Use Committee. October 29th, Thursday at 5, the Knickerbocker Task Force. October 29th, Thursday, our district office was canceled. We didn't have a quorum, so we had to cancel. We need the quorum, guys. October 30th, Friday at 12 o'clock. This is. I think those DOT or the committee might speak on it, but I want to speak on this. We had a meeting with DOT in regards to City Bike. They want to put another bike rack on Wyckoff. and Linden. There's one on Manningham and Wyckoff, a block away. Why would we want to put everything comes to our side? They want to do it for the people in the plaza, the Wyckoff Plaza. I was pleading and fighting with them that we put it in Queenside. Since Queens want it, put it in Queenside. Because we're tired of getting all this stuff on our side. They're taking the parking. There's all these stuff. Then you got stores that are there too. They can't find parking for the stores that are there. They're using the outside now. It's going to go crazy now. So I don't know what they're going to do or what's going on. Or if they're going to come, I don't know. Or maybe they decide not to put it there because they know there's one a block away. So if the person wants the bike, they could walk. Instead of going to Linden, go to Manningham, and take the bike and go wherever you're going to go. Because the one on Bushwick Avenue is not being used. I've been taking a picture right next to this lady's house, a beautiful house. You know who she is? She was a older lady. She came to the board meeting. They put where it's not being used. So all that stuff there, she's a senior. And then because ain't nobody going to Bushwick Avenue. There's nothing there on Bushwick anywhere to go. Unless you want to put it on Knickerbocker. On November 5th, Thursday at 1 o'clock, did the NYPD Community Youth Forum. On November 5th, that same Thursday at 5 o'clock, Sanitation Work Group. November 6th, Friday at 11, I had the RAD. I gave them all the complaints that we've been getting in regards to RAD. They answered some back. They gave us most of them back, but I'm not happy with what they gave us, so we have to follow up. On November 9th, Monday at 6 p.m., the PL Committee, Permits and License Committee. On November 10th, Tuesday, I went at 9 a.m., me and the Public Safety Chairperson, Ms. Little, we sat in the New York City Board of Correction hearing, and they wanted to do a variance. A 6 months variance. Some of these things they already got. Some of these things they want to do for 6 months. Some of these things they want, and I testified, they want to do for long term. At the end, I'm not too sure what they voted on. The board voted on, but the variance was to allow to operate a separation status, meaning separating people. A variance to allow the department to operate and enhance supervision housing for young adults. A variance to allow the Department of Operations to secure the unit to young adults ages 19 to 21 with adults. Because back then, up to 21, it wasn't considered an adult. So now they're going to put 19 to 21 on adults. Also, they wanted to continue the punitive segregation and isolating. If you act up or you start something or fight, they put you in this thing. But I testified that we already in isolation and we're not locked up. And you know how we feel and how we get. Why not, if you're going to do that, let the person unwind and then bring them back to society and talk to the person, instead of just locking them in there for so many hours and only bringing them back for 1 hour. And they were listening. I think they understood. So at the end of the day, I don't know what in details the board correction approved or didn't approve. On November 10th, Tuesday at 2 p.m., Community Board 4 is getting an audit. And all the boards were there, and we're all getting audited in regard to the Zoom, and they're checking up our paperwork and making sure we're in compliance with the open meeting law. So we're being audited. Hopefully, we'll pass our audit. I think we were one of the boards that started the Zoom before anybody else, and we were fighting with the city to give us the platform, and they gave us whatever they want to. But hopefully, we can get something better. On November 10th, on Tuesday, 6 p.m., HASV at 6 o'clock, which is a health hospital services and veterans. On November 12th, Thursday at 6 p.m., I was viral. I went We had economic development. There was a viral financial literacy and security fraud workshop. It was very informative. There were only 5 people there, and 2 of them were the people, and 3 of them were me, Celeste, and someone else. So we gotta, go home, pick up, take a couple of times and get on the Zoom. And we said, let's send you the links, send you the let's do something. On November 16, Monday, I was in the town hall with District 32, with the school chancellor, Carranza. She'll speak on, I think the youth and education will speak on that. But as you know now, there is no school now. November 16th for 1:30, I went to ACE Integration. That's the daycare center that's on Woodbine and Broadway. And they still serving the kids there in that daycare center because some of them are responders, first responders, and they have a couple of kids there. And since they're working, some of the parents don't have time to buy food. So Goya gave them bags of food and took care of those kids, and we gave them to the families that needed it, that were in that daycare center. I think there were 30 or 60 families. On November 17th, Tuesday at 11, the Bushwick Community Partners, it was really good. They did a relax and survey, and they were talking about the needs of the people that need it, and it was really good, man. I appreciated what they were doing. On November 18th, Wednesday the 10th, the 8-3 precinct clergy, which is today, I was there at 10 o'clock, and it was a good thing that Bishop Clark, the chair of the clergy, it was so wonderful to hear him say that we need to pray for each other. He says when he goes to sleep, he prays for the community board. He prays for the family in the community board. He prays for the people. He even prayed for the people that are doing bad things. And he's telling us that we should all be praying. Whatever belief you believe, and whoever it is you believe, especially now, do a little prayer. And I told him that I would also make sure that we pray for them too, that they're helping our community and clergy. You'd be surprised. We had that clergy has a melting pot because there's a Hasidim there named Izzy. He's been there a long time, but he's always on the sideline. He don't speak and he don't say nothing. And he was saying he got on there and he talked that in the Hasidims now there's a lot of people hurting them and feeding them bad, and it was sad what he was saying, that we need to all get together, that we're all human, and it was sad. I felt a little sad that by the 9-0, the Hasidims are getting beat up, they're getting robbed, they're getting harassed, and it was touching, and we fought for him, and we told him that there's always going to be bad person, and there's always good person in everyone. So and then today the full board meeting. I am done with my report. And
Questions for Mr. Camacho? Going once, going twice. All right. If there are no questions right now, I want to make sure we have folks that have called in. I just have 2 numbers based on my last check. Give me one moment so I can find them. All right, I have just, for those that are calling in, if you're a board member, just let us know that you're on, you'll be unmuted. If you are just an attendee, you can just say that you're a resident and you'll be muted again. We just want to make sure we know who's calling in so we don't miss anyone. I have 212-882. 212-882. Hello? Anyone there? 212-882.
What's this?
All right. Hearing no one. 631-578. 631-578.
Hi, that's me. Yeah, that's me, Myra Mera from the Brooklyn Coalition.
Got you, Myra. No problem. All right. I'm going to put you back on mute. Okay. So moving us along now, we have the introduction of elected officials and representatives. I have a list here. I see folks that have joined. I will double check as we go along. First, though, we have both Evelyn Cruz and Julio Salazar. Since Evelyn, I see you first. I'm going to go ahead and unmute. Evelyn, are you there? Evelyn? Hello? All right. Move on. Let me see if Julio, you there?
Yes, good evening, everyone. How are you,
Go
Celeste?
for it. Yes.
Good evening. Just introductions. Julio from Congressman Velasquez's office. Phone number is 718-599-3658. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next, I have Jackie Reyes. Jackie, you there?
Yes, I am. Hi, everybody. It is so great to hear and see you all again. Unfortunately, it's virtual. One day we'll see each other in person. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jackie Reyes. I represent Assemblymember Eric Martin Delon. Our office is located at 366 Cornelia Street on the corner of Irving Avenue. And the best way to reach me is 718-386-4576. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. I have John Blasco. John, you there?
Hi, everyone. John Blasco from Speaker Corey Johnson's office, representing Council District 37. We are still moving and shaking for constituent hours, Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 4:30. Number is 718-642-8664. Good to see everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. You're the best.
All right. Jonathan Pomboza. Jonathan, you there?
Yes. Hi. Good evening, Sus. Good evening, everyone. This is Jonathan from Brooklyn DA Eric Gonzalez's office. Our office is located at 350 J Street, and our phone number is 718-250-2340. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. And I have Marcus Harris. Marcus, you there?
Hey, I'm here.
Go
Hi,
for it.
everyone. It's Marcus Harris from the Office of Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams. We are located at 209 Geralman Street in downtown Brooklyn. If you want to call our Constituent Assistance Center, we are available Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 at 718-802-3700. You can reach me directly at 917-324-2680.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right. Next, I have Nadine Gale. Nadine, are you there?
Hi, everyone. This is Nadine from Assemblywoman Latrice Walker's office at 400 Rockaway Avenue. Our phone number is 718-342-1256. Please call us if you have any issues or concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. And I have Taika Haraguchi from the Controller's Office. Taika, you there?
Yep. Hi, everyone. It's Taika Haraguchi from New York City Comptroller Stringer's office. It's great to be here this evening. We have been closed since the start of the pandemic, but if you do want to reach us, you can call me at my number, 917-594-2129. Thank you.
Thank you. And we still have two that have called in. Just give me 1 second so I can find. All right. I have Ramon. I'm going to unmute you. Ramon, are you there?
Hi, good evening. This is Ramon Pebenito from the office of State Senator Julio Salazar. You can reach us at our district office, 718-573-1726. We are available at 212 Evergreen off Myrtle by appointment only. Thank you very much.
Got it. Thanks, Ramon. Just a note to make it a little bit easier behind the scenes here. I'm going to leave you unmuted. Elected official reps unmuted as well on the phone, just so I don't have to keep cross-referencing your numbers. If you have background noise, please do mute yourself. Right. And one more moment. And Andres, if you're still there, I'm just looking for your number. There we go. All right,
Can you hear me?
Andres? Yes, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
Yes. Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Andres. Here from on behalf of the Assemblywoman Marisa Davila. We're located at 249 Wilson Avenue in Bushwick. We can be reached at 718-443-1205.
All right, thank you. That should be everyone. If for whatever reason I missed you, please do send me a message in the chat. It's not intentional. I just went through the list a few times. I want to move us down now to our agency and community-based organization representatives. I believe we have our park manager with us this evening. Rich, are you there? Rich, can you hear me? Oh, go ahead.
Good evening. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that you had unmuted me. Yes, good evening, everyone. My name is Richard Williams, and I am the park manager for District 4 in Brooklyn.
Got it. Thank you very much for joining us. All right, moving along, I have a list here. Let me see. I know we have Tom Brogan from the library. Tom, are you there? All right. So just in case, just so I'm not sure who's there and who's listening actively, I know a few folks have reached out, but I'm just going to read down the list. I have Myra Mera from the North Brooklyn Coalition Against Family Violence. Let me just see if Myra is able to introduce herself. Myra, are you there?
Hi, yes, can you hear me?
Yes, go for it. Contact info, name and contact info only right now.
Okay, perfect. Oh, I'm so sorry, just background noise. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, sorry about that. So you can reach us at 718-302-4073. And you can also reach us at help@northbrooklyncoalition.org. Unfortunately, we can't disclose our address due to confidentiality, but feel free to reach us at that number as well.
Thank you. I'm going to put you back on mute. All right, up next on this list, I have Randall Torrey. Randall, if you'd like to introduce yourself, I'm going to mute you now.
Hey, thank you, Celeste. Randall Torrey from Riseboro. Don't have any updates, but if you need to reach me, I am the community engagement manager. And if you need to reach me on behalf of Riseboro, my direct number is 718-416-4563. And as you know, we are a community organization with many different services. So just reach out to me and I'll direct you to the correct office within Riseboro. Thank you.
Got it. Thanks, Randall. Okay. I did see earlier Luis from El Puente. I don't see him now. I'm going to keep going. I know Luis Martinez. Let me see if Luis is still here. Luis did leave some information in the chat earlier. All right. And let me see if Tom, if you're there, this is an opportunity just to share your contact info and your name. Tom, can you hear us? All right. And I also see Bruno from CORE. Bruno, I'm going to mute you if you'd like to just share name and contact info.
Hey everyone, my name is Bruno Daniel Garcia. I am the coalition strategist at Communities Resist. As my colleague Karina presented earlier, a legal services organization based in housing. If you'd like to reach out to me, we currently are in between offices with the pandemic, so we don't have a physical site right now, but people can reach out to me at my email. It's kind of a long one, but I'll give it anyway. It's B as in boy, and then Daniel, D-A-N-I-L, at communitiesresist.org. And Celeste, I'll make sure to send it over to you so people have it.
Perfect. Thanks, Bruno. All right.
Celeste, you have an officer there from Community Affairs, Officer Joan. She's on the phone, I think.
Who? Okay, that's probably one of the phone numbers that didn't identify themselves. So I'll see if I can. We have like 20 people that have called in this evening, and I can only see the first 6 digits of their phone number. If you can get the first 6 digits from her, that'd be really helpful.
335.
Any 347-335?
Yep.
Okay. Give me 1 second. That was someone who didn't introduce themselves earlier. Okay. All right. You should be unmuted. Can you hear us from Community
Yes,
Affairs?
I can. Hello, everybody. Yes, hello. I'm Officer Jones. I'm on a call on behalf of Patrol Borough Brooklyn North. I'm a Community Affairs Officer. Hello, everyone.
Welcome. Thank you. Just to make it easier, in case you have any announcements later, I'm going to also leave you unmuted. So just make sure if you have background noise that you mute your phone on your end, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. So moving us along now with the rest of the agenda for this evening, we usually have the Deputy Inspector sharing with us a report from the precinct. However, we were informed earlier today by Community Affairs that Deputy Inspector Casaza was not able to attend due to a scheduling change. We will go straight into my report, which is the District Manager's report. Let me just pull it up. All right. So good evening, everyone. Happy belated Veterans Day to all Bushwick veterans. We hope everyone is staying safe and taking the necessary precautions as we prepare for the first holiday season with COVID-19. As we've heard earlier from Ms. Waterman, the COVID infection rate has been rising in recent weeks. The Test and Trace Corps, House Hospital Corporation, and Community Affairs Unit for the Mayor's Office are reminding all of us to continue to take all necessary precautions. I won't go into this since we had a really comprehensive presentation. However, I did include some of the information that we were shared in my report as well, including the websites for more information on testing sites as well as COVID-19 information in general. Additionally, there are many exciting changes behind the scenes in the board's office, such as the board's new e-newsletter. I'm sure many of you that are on the call this evening have received that newsletter. That's how you were able to join. For now, to learn more about the board's committee meetings, committees in general, and operations for the board's office, please join our email list. So if there's anyone on this evening that would like to receive the updates and the links for the meetings directly, please go to our website. You can go to the homepage. There's a link that says join our email list. If you require assistance signing up, please do not hesitate to contact the office. And below are meetings and events that I attended in the past month, along with other notices. Mr. Camacho and I do attend a lot of the same meetings, so I won't go through the same ones. I do want to pull out a few in particular that everyone should know more about. On Friday, October 23rd, I had a call with the Mayor's Office of Data Analytics. I was referred to the office by the New York City Civic Engagement Commission. Currently, we are looking and exploring at doing a mapping project. Right now, Bushwick has, according to our liaison at the Department of City Planning, about 318 blocks throughout the entire neighborhood. And our goal with our newsletter is to have at least one person, just to start, a foundation is to have at least one person per block signed up for our newsletter. It's really exciting. We want to make sure we share this with the community. This is a project really meant to encourage engagement and then eventually build and become something a little bit more elaborate. Hopefully community members will be able to engage, will be able to know where we need to do more outreach, etc. So it's really exciting mapping project. Please stay tuned for more information. On Monday, October 26th, the board's office was cleaned. We did hire a vendor to come in and do a thorough cleaning of the office. As some of you may have heard, since we've been out of the office still working from home, we have had a series of different incidents with birds that have made the office their temporary home. Thankfully, we were able to take away all of the entrances for those birds to access the office. And now we have a thoroughly cleaned office prepared for when we do return. On Tuesday, October 27th, I had two calls. One was with Lynn Zhang from NYC Housing Preservation and Development, and also another call with our liaison from City Planning, Alexandra Pati Diaz. Both of these were really just check-in calls to prepare for the Housing and Land Use Committee meeting that evening. We do work closely with both agencies to make sure that whenever there are going to be developers, and you'll hear more about that meeting during the committee reports, but we always want to make sure that we're on the same page and that any information that developers are sharing with the city, that the board also knows and is aware of as we go and begin reviewing those applications So that way both the community and the board is prepared whenever it comes time to provide feedback and make recommendations. On Wednesday, October 28th, I had a call with Gabriel Halili. Gabriel, or Gabo, as many know him, has been helping with the Bushwick Brownfield Opportunity Area Study. The study is still under review, and their team will likely be ready to present in January. You may recall they came to a Housing and Land Use Committee meeting in June. Since then, they've been reviewing their initial findings and will likely be prepared to present the final report next year. On Monday, November 2nd, I had a staff training for WebEx, the event format. Many of you may not know this. However, in November, we switched over formally to registration for all board meetings. So now all meetings are open. They were always open, but it's a little bit easier. Instead of having to call the office and request the link or anything, you're now sent the registration links in every newsletter. It's another reason why signing up for the newsletter is important. I promise you'll only receive 2 per month. One will include the calendar with all the links and the agenda for those meetings. And the second will be the monthly newsletter for this meeting. And then on Thursday, November 5th, Mr. Camacho and I hosted the 5th Sanitation Working Group meeting. This group continues to meet and talk a little bit about creative strategies and solutions to tackle the waste issue in Bushwick. So far, we've worked together on cleanups throughout the neighborhood. We're also planning more outreach, both residential and business outreach. And Mr. Camacho covered the audit. On Thursday, November 12th, I had a call with Veronica Popsis from NYC Planning. This was regarding the zoning application portal walkthrough. For those of you that don't know, this is also known as ZAP. It is a tool that City Planning has created online for the review of all zoning applications. I encourage you to check it out. It's really handy. I've also linked in this month's Housing and Land Use Agenda the information directly to ZAP. And on Friday, November 13th, I had a call with Andres Aguirre from the Assemblywoman's office. So as many of you know, we have liaisons from every elected official's office. Andres and I were able to meet one another and talk a little bit more about the issues that are going on in Bushwick right now. We always try to make sure that we have direct contact within every elected official's office, so that way we can stay on the same page with issues and concerns and really meet the community's needs more efficiently. The same day, I also hosted a Future of Community Boards working group meeting. This is the second meeting. It was really incredible. District managers from across the city. I believe all 5 boroughs received the email. We may have just had district managers from Queens, the Bronx, Brooklyn, and Manhattan on the call. We talked a little bit about the issues that we have, and with the goal of coming up with a consolidated report for how community boards can better operate in the future and continue to serve our communities effectively. And lastly, yesterday, the 17th, I had a call with Andy Toledo from the Civic Engagement Commission. This was really just a check-in regarding land use assistance and training for community boards. This is a big topic that comes up. It's the most formal really responsibility that the boards have, and making sure that board members have the training and the resources and tools that they need to understand those applications is essential to being effective, as well as having access to those resources for the community as well. That concludes the majority of my meetings. I wish everyone a safe, healthy, and happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, everyone. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Of course. You're very welcome. All right, let's move on with the agenda. I have next our committee reports, starting with youth and education in reverse order this evening. Virgie, are you there?
I am, Celeste. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, my voice keeps coming and going, so let me know if you can't hear. But we had our good evening, everyone, and we're glad that everyone is able to attend today. So we had our Youth and Education Committee meeting on October 26th at 6 p.m. The members that were present was myself, Josh, James, Tanisha, Samuel, Assery, and also in attendance was Mr. Camacho, Sharon, thank you, Valone Brown from St. Nicolaitans, and Martha Bayona, our CEC president. So Mr. Brown began the meeting, but he is the director Learning to Work program, and it's through St. Nick Alliance. And he did a presentation on the Learn to Work program and the opportunity to further collaborate with the community board. The Learn to Work consists of career readiness, post-secondary readiness, social-emotional learning. For career readiness, the students have annual career day, annual college fair, a young men's group, a health fair, things of that nature. Some of the places that they have visited have been Madison Square Garden, Microsoft, Temple University, Princeton University, University of Binghamton, Citibank headquarters, New York, and more. And they've also been on some college tours in New York, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Boston, Massachusetts, and also Princeton. For the social emotional, it involves career and career day. And they also have learning sports series. So he requests for the community board if we could offer students volunteer opportunities to the community. And we told him that we couldn't at this because everything was virtual. And he also wanted us to participate in their annual career day, and we told him that we'd be happy. And to also any type of internship that they could, giving out masks to the community and things of that nature. And he would also like the students to be able to understand what the community board members do. Now this program, this one is at Bushwick Community High School. And as we know, that Bushwick Community High School is an alternative transfer high school. And where overage, undercredited young people have the opportunity to make progress toward graduation in a small, caring, and challenging environment. And he also indicated to us that they had been there and they've had over 1,200 students in the 6 years, the last 6 years. He also wanted to let us know about some funding that was going to be cut from the program, and he wanted us to sign a petition, which we were able to do, and we would be able to participate in their annual career days. And as I already said, we told him that we would. And he said that, he was happy to be partnering with us, and we would be collaborating further. Then there was some discussion and questions and answers. Our next thing on our agenda was Martha Bayona, our CDC president, and we know that they're doing a wonderful job here in Bushwick, advocating for our students and parents in the community. And she talked about that the office is not open, but their phone numbers are working. And she gave the number about that. She also told us that there were 70 teachers. This was back in October, that were missing in the elementary schools and in District 32 schools, that there was a shortage of 70 teachers. She gave us the breakdown. But our understanding is that most of those positions have been filled by now. And we're glad to hear that. Also, she talked about only 20% of the students being tested. And that's been a big concern across the city. And those of us that heard the news today, schools are closed starting tomorrow because the rates are rising with that. And that's that. And she mentioned that this is citywide, and the 20% basis on how many students are in the schools, and some districts have 30%. And she also brought to our attention that there were a lot of devices that the district did not have, students did not have. And in our staff board meeting on Monday, that was also brought to the chancellor's attention. And I understand that they're working on that, and they're trying to just make sure that all students have working devices. And if not, they need to know why. She also told us about the learning centers that are in the area and gave us the name of them and the different schools that they're in. Old business. Sammy asked if we could spread the word about the after-school program, because in the district, because we know if there's low attendance, then there will be the funding will be cut. And we can reach out to the schools to see if they have after-school program. recommendations was that we would make a motion to sign the petition, which we did. And that's pretty much it. And I want to say thank you to Celeste and Sharon publicly for helping me out with this report. Ensure that we got it in on time. Thank you, everyone, and everyone have a wonderful evening and a blessed holiday.
Thank you, Virgie. Any questions for Virgie before we move on?
No question. Just to let everybody know that the school is an alternative high school. Sometimes kids are over age and they age out, and this school gives them a time to give them, because I graduated at one of them high schools, and some of the people also, when I was in one, was they might have young girls that were pregnant and got into trouble or something, and they came into, I graduated out of redirection. We need to help, especially those kids and those teachers that are doing a good job and making sure that our kids have a diploma and maybe get into college or maybe get into a skilled trade or maybe get into something that they can be and help us in any way. They want to volunteer. They want, as you know now with the COVID, maybe they want to get internships and want to do work with us. So they want to learn about the community board. They want to know what is it that we do, how is it, and this is a good time to let them kids come to ours and help them and guide them, because that's the same way I did when I came here. Anna Gonzalez, Barbara Smith, Miss Dent, all of them, they all picked me up and said, no, you can do this, you can come in. I've been almost 32 years on the board. So we really need to, if people that are going to retire or did they do, we need to pass the torch to these young kids that live in the community, and we can help them, and maybe they can be successful.
Celeste, can I share an update?
Is it relevant to youth and education?
Oh, yes.
Yes, go for it.
Yeah, this is Sammy Nemi. I'm also part of the CEC, and I want to give an update that this week we had the meeting with the chancellor of the DOE that happens every 2 years, and Bushwick got its opportunity this week. So one of the questions that we asked or confronted the chancellor was the disparities and inequality of Bushwick about the tablets that the chair shared, and the chancellor did not commit it to anything in any timeline whatsoever to fulfill the need of tablets for families in Bushwick. However, we expressed our discontent and frustration of the over 600 tablets that are missing in Bushwick. However, then there was news present at the meeting, and the DOE, the city received 30,000 tablets, and they're gonna sending 500 by Friday tablets. So DOE told the news, we pressure them that they might by Friday send the remaining ones. So that's a welcoming news, but we have been waiting. There's like families in Bush that will for months, but there's not going to be a different wave of parents that might need additional tablets because of remote learning, and also because some of them get broken and etc. But at least that amount will be soon fulfilled. So that's an update on the chancellor's town hall. Thank you.
Sammy, it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was 637. So they're only giving us 500.
Yeah, they're sending 500 first, and then apparently, according to the news, they said that by Friday they are sending the remaining, but we cannot count on that with the debacle that is happening with the school closing now. So we need to keep an eye on that and the pressure. So if any parent, anyone knows about families without tablets, please let the CEC or the community board know so we can follow up. Thank you.
Thank you, Sammy. And just a note that I did formally document this request with our Department of Education liaison. And so we've been in communication. As soon as I got additional information as well in response, I sent them an initial email. They got back to me. It wasn't a very clear answer. However, when the CEC President, Martha Bayona, elaborated, I did send essentially what you summarized, Sammy, to them as well today. So that way we have a formal record of that situation.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so moving us along now to the next committee report, we have our permits and licenses report. At this time, I will ask committee members if there are any volunteers to summarize this report this evening, since the chairperson is excused. If there are no takers, then I will gladly summarize. Committee members, anyone? All right, hearing from no one.
I guess they voted you in.
I will go ahead for the sake of time and summarize. The meeting was held on Monday, November 9th. There were 3 committee members in attendance, 2 members not in attendance, and we had, I believe, about 8 establishments that were there. The first establishment that spoke was Santa Salsa at 234 Star Street, requesting a new liquor, wine, beer, and cider license. They are going to be serving Venezuelan food. The goal of the space is to exchange culture with the community that's around it. They have a full kitchen, and they're open from 12 noon to 11 p.m. without outside seating. They're following COVID-19 protocol. Their hours that they intend to have Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And they are in agreement with no sales. They're in compliance actually with no sale of alcohol after 12 a.m. on Sunday, since they're closing way before midnight. The second establishment I have here is Martita's Kitchen 2 Corporation at 1571 Broadway, requesting a new wine, beer, and cider license. This is a Dominican food restaurant operating from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. The serving of alcohol will start from 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then their hours are as follows: Monday through Sunday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. They're also in compliance because they will not be open past midnight on Sundays. The next establishment is Tikal Cafe at 1312 Decatur Street, requesting a new wine, beer, and cider license. This is a cafe bar establishment serving a small menu of vegetarian, vegan food. Their intended hours of operation are Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 10 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. They're also in compliance since they won't be open past midnight on Sunday. And the committee also heard from Tutum LLC at 321 Star Street, Suite D, a new wine, beer, and cider license. It's a Japanese restaurant. It's going to be the second ramen shop for the owner. They already have a restaurant in Carroll Gardens. Their intended hours of operation are Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. to 11 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. They're also in compliance with the stipulation of no liquor after midnight on Sundays. And we also heard from El Encebollado de Rossi Corp. 2 at 238 Wyckoff Avenue. It's a husband and wife team running the organization, a Latin food establishment seeking approval in advance of their opening. They're still actually under construction. Already operating another restaurant in a different part of Brooklyn and doing very well. Their intended hours of operation Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 12 a.m., midnight, and Fridays through Sunday from 9 a.m. to 1 a.m. And they're also in compliance with no liquor sales past midnight. And then lastly, this was separate from the new applications. The committee also heard from the House of Yes, Kay Burke at 2 Wyckoff Avenue. There were 2 items they wanted to discuss with the committee. The first is that their liquor license was suspended in August, and they've been working on getting it reinstated. And the second is that the restrictions now that they would potentially face with reinstating that license would be no music of any kind, not even a radio, inside or outside of the business location. And the other is closing at midnight, which during the pandemic is unreasonable for them. So they would still have to pay a fine. It was a $20,000 fine. And it would be tricky for them to reopen with everything going on if they're facing those restrictions as well. So they were requesting a letter of support from the committee. And I know we have a couple of businesses that have joined this evening. I will ask the board if they would like to hear from them. I'm going to check to see if they're still on. But this would be the time that we could hear from them. Is that okay with the board? If they're here, okay. Let me just take a look. All right, I see Aurelia Taveras. Just give me one moment. I'm going to mute you now. Aurelia, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, if you'd just like to introduce yourself, say a few words about the business, go for it.
Hi, my name's Aurelia Taveras. I'm the representative for Encebollado de Rossi. It's a husband and wife team who have another successful restaurant on the other side of Brooklyn in Encebollado de Rossi 1. It's Latin food, it's fast food, and really rare, not that much not much sit down, but it's sit down but takeout. And they've never had a violation with the SLA, no issues at their other locations with any city ordinances or state mandates. They're the cutest couple, and I think this was a welcome restaurant to the area. I think it'll bring a lot of much needed jobs. Also, they work as a team, so when one is not there, the other's there. So it's really refreshing. And even though they have two, they would be rotating between the two of them. And again, this is a family-run restaurant. I don't think this is a source of concern for the community. They'll agree to midnight, no alcohol after midnight, and they close early. They close a little earlier anyway, but they wanted the hours just in case they with now we need every minute of service with what's going on. So I hope that they're welcome to your community and your community.
God, thank you, Aurelia. And just a question. So for those that don't know, usually we ask for the owner to speak. We appreciate you summarizing on their behalf. However, did they join as well this evening? Did one of them join?
On the call, I don't hear you identify them. They're on the call. Ruben?
It could be one number that I didn't get down. So I have a few people that didn't identify themselves when I asked for them. So I have a 212-882 number. I don't know if that's them. Just give me one moment. 212-882, are you there? All right. I don't hear anyone. And then let me see. I also have let me see.
It starts with 917.
It does? Okay. Let me see.
While you find it, I want to add that Encebollado de Rossi is also very engaged with the community and have donated food for Thanksgiving drives in White Avenue.
Sammy, we can't hear you.
Sammy, you sound far away.
Hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, while you find the number, I want to add that they are very engaged with the community and the Wyckoff merchants and have donated for the Thanksgiving drives in Wyckoff Avenue. Very welcome and very engaged in the community.
Yeah.
Number is 917-328-0889. I don't know if they dropped off or she should.
Yeah. They might have dropped off just because of the time, but that's okay. We appreciate you staying and speaking, and hopefully we'll be able to meet them at a meeting in the future.
Maybe I'll go over there, eat something.
All right. So I'm going to put you back on mute now. I believe we have one other establishment that joined us. I just want to make sure they have an opportunity just to confirm. Just give me a moment. Okay. Nope, I don't think so. So I just wanted to double check, but it looks like I have. If I've missed you, if there's another establishment that's on right now, please just send me a message in the chat, and I'll gladly give you an opportunity. Once I see that, you'll have a chance to speak. So just to move us along, I want to summarize the recommendations for the report very briefly. Here we go. So the committee, I believe, recommended support for all of the establishments unanimously. So I will go through very briefly just to repeat the list again for everyone on the call. We had 262 Irving Avenue. There was, 262 Irving Avenue, 1329 Willoughby Avenue, 234 Star Street, 1571 Broadway, 1312 Decatur Street, and 321 Star Street, and 238 Wyckoff. So all of these establishments were recommended for approval with the stipulation of no liquor sales after midnight should their hours have them open longer. And there was only one abstention from Jamie Wiseman, and this was specifically for 234 Star Street. Okay. Moving us along now, if there are no other questions, we will go down to Housing and Land Use and Guiney.
Hello, everyone. The Housing and Land Use Committee had a meeting on Tuesday, October 27th. There were 7 members plus Camacho and Celeste, as well as a number of other folks calling in from the community. There was one primary issue on the agenda, which was a development proposal for 900 Wyckoff, and that is Wyckoff at Hancock and Rearfield. I think you may be familiar with it. Right now, it is a sort of auto parts, I'm not going to call it a junkyard, but auto parts depot situation. And the family who owns it are proposing to develop it into mixed use residential. It is currently zoned as M11, which is light manufacturing. They are proposing an R7A with a commercial or manufacturing overlay, which allows a little bit more density for commercial or manufacturing on the first floor. And what they're also proposing is using the fresh provision, which allows for a grocery store on the ground use. They said they had spoken, they had looked at the community district needs assessment and had spoken with the BP's office, the borough president's office, in terms of getting some ideas. The conversation, because this is a pretty preliminary proposal and we had not seen it before the meeting, there was no vote on this. And so there were a lot of questions asked about it. Just so everybody, I don't know how familiar everyone is. I don't think you can see this. This is what R7A looks like. That's about 7 to 9 stories. The development proposal is for 243 units. 36 of those would be for seniors, another 28 under mandatory inclusionary, some 421A, which is a tax credit program, and then 170 are market rate. So some of the questions that came up in the committee were, number one, there are a lot of supermarkets very close by. The Food Bazaar, Seatown is the fresh the fresh requirement really, is that the right thing? They seem to think it made sense for their development, but we asked them about that. Another question was, have you looked at things other than the community district needs assessment, which is what we produce in the community board? Have you looked at the Bushwick Community Plan? Have you considered light manufacturing? It's not clear. I think that they've not looked at that. We have asked them to do that. They said they would. We asked about the AMI, the area median income levels for what they would be proposing for affordability. They said 30% of the units at 70% AMI. So basically, it was really just a lot of questions about what they were looking at. As far as we could tell, they were in such a preliminary phase that they didn't have very strong answers to those questions yet. But there was a question from a committee member to look into getting HPD financing, housing preservation and development from the city, which would potentially allow them to do 100% affordable. Because I think that, as we have talked about on this committee a lot before, when we are going from an M zoning to a residential, the community asked for a pretty significant amount of benefit back to the community. So far, the proposal has not shown anything that I think we could comfortably get behind right now. But again, this was very preliminary. Celeste then shared with us the development proposal after the fact, because we had only seen it at that meeting. And so we've all had some more time to look at it. It has not come up for a vote. It's not going to come up for a vote anytime soon. So that's number one. That was 900 Wyckoff. Take a look. Number two was some old business, which was Celeste gave us an update on the Brownfields Opportunity Areas program that Raul Rubio and Gabo Halili have been working on. So it was pretty much just an update to say that they will be presenting again soon, but we don't know the date yet. Then land parking along Bushwick Avenue, that is something that's also, people have been reaching out to the district office and Celeste about that there is interest in that. The church study that Celeste and Joshua Brown and others have been working on it's very much a work in progress, but people are interested in that. And we want to support religious organizations, communities who have real estate that they're talking to developers about developing, because I think there is a long and pretty ugly track record of sometimes those folks don't get the support they need to get the deal. I'm sorry?
What?
What's that?
No.
I couldn't hear you, Camacho. And then finally, the last update was on the responsible development policy, which is basically in the same way that the Permits and Licensing Committee has a sort of checklist of things that we as a community have agreed on that we want to present to people before they even come to us. We have been talking about that for about a year at the Housing and Land Use Committee. We will, of course, present it to the entire community board before it goes any further, but we're still working on that draft. Finally, for new business, a community resident came from, she lives on Decatur, and she, between Knickerbocker and Irving, and she is in a 421A building, which has gotten, there was some city subsidy, and it was never completed. So she was raising a huge number of concerns she had about how HPD enforces this, or in this case, does not enforce it, and really wanted to bring that to our attention. And also to, one of the questions that we asked her was, can we connect the very specific problems in your building to a larger sort of push against 421A fraud or lack of enforcement? So that was some of the conversation. It did get a bit salty, I will say. There was some animosity towards some folks from Assemblymember Davida's office. So we just wanted to keep it, not personal and, directed towards the right fight, which is against a lack of enforcement on the part of the city, and making sure that when public dollars are being spent, they're being spent wisely and in the benefit of the community. So I think those were the main points from the Housing and Land Use Committee. There was no vote. And then the final thing, I apologize, Karina Losada, who presented earlier, and then Bruno also talked about the racial impact analysis study that they are working on. I have been participating in some of those meetings as a community board member, just to keep abreast of things. But basically the racial impact analysis study that would be attached to ULURP, which is the Universal Land Use Review process, like anytime there's a zoning change. So that is the review of the HLU meeting. Is there any questions, or any committee members, anything I'm forgetting?
No, I just wanted to know that I think they pulled out 900 Wyckoff.
Already, that was fast.
The guy said the owner said that he didn't like the way I guess the guy did the presentation and was a little upset. So they pulled out and they had apologized. They wrote me a letter to apologize to me, and I didn't get back to them, but eventually I was a little upset. But they pulled out. They said that it was too steep, and the guy said he's not going to go through it. So
And just for the whole community board, there was I believe it was a member of the developers team or the architect made what he said was a joke, but it made it sound like there was some backroom deal situation going on, and that was really unacceptable because it was not true, number one, and it was just, that's just not an appropriate kind of joke to make in a meeting like this. And so Mr. Camacho quite rightly pushed back on that. And it sounds like there has been some fallout to the point where they're not going to move forward with that team.
They're not going to move forward with it.
Okay. Well, good to know. I'm sorry I didn't have that update before. I could have saved everyone the time, but it's just something to be aware of. Yeah. And I think that they will probably try and go forward with something else at some point. So.
All right. Thank you, Anne. If there are no other questions, we can move on now to our Health, Human Service, Senior Citizens, and Veterans Committee report. I'm not sure if Cheryl has joined us. Let me just double check really quickly. If there are any committee members that are on that would again like to volunteer to just briefly summarize the report. All right. I didn't see Cheryl. I just checked to see if one of her numbers came up as well. I didn't see her on here. So the committee met last Tuesday. I believe it had quorum. Everyone was in attendance. And there was a presentation from WellCare on their Medicare 2021 plan. Unfortunately, during the meeting, the presenter did have some technical issues and she wasn't able to share her video that she wanted to share. She did provide a run through of the plan of Medicare 2021, the different parts from A to D. I encourage everyone to read the committee report for more information. If there are any community members on the call that would also like the details of that meeting, please contact us in the board's office. There was just the one presentation. However, there were also some community partners that participated in the meeting as well, including Myra Mera. We heard from her a little bit earlier from the North Brooklyn Coalition Against Family Violence. Once again, just sharing that they are present and doing work within the community to protect our neighbors, our friends, our family members that are experiencing anything that relates to domestic violence. And then we also had, I believe, there was supposed to be a presentation, very brief, informal announcement about veterans and resources for veterans. However, that individual was not able to make the meeting. I believe it was from the Department of Consumer and Worker Protection. It was just a brief note. And then there was to my knowledge, there was no old business or new business. And the meeting wrapped up within an hour. Mr. Camacho or any other committee members, am I missing anything?
Nope. That was the fastest meeting I had.
Excellent. All right. So if there are no questions about that meeting, we can move on now to recommendations. I believe this evening, the only recommendations we have for the full board to vote on would be the Permit and License Committee recommendations. Is everyone comfortable with the blanket vote? Does anyone need to hear again the establishments?
Also, Celeste, the letter support from the board to
Oh yes. So separate from the blanket vote potentially would be the letter for House of Yes. So both fall under permits and licenses this evening.
Correct.
So I guess to keep it simple, we can just go for the letter of support first for the House of Yes, if that is okay with the board. Again, to reiterate the reason why they're trying to get their license reinstated, and they're asking for the board's support in general, since they've been good neighbors, right, throughout their time in the community, and also just so that they don't have restrictions placed on their license.
Not only that, they serve the youth and they do a lot of things with our youth. They turn around and they give back to the community, which we want some of these people to do, to give back to community when they're making. If they don't have it, they don't have it, but they give back to us, and they've been a pillar for a long time. And I don't think that just because they made I don't think they should be penalized twice. It should be, I never heard of nothing like that before in my life, but I think that remember, they do arts and dancing and a music thing, and it's hard for them to function and also not to open and get a fine. And how they going to pay one if they can't open to pay the fine? So they want us. I think the A3 Precinct Council gave them a letter of support. The community board should echo and give them a letter of support because they've been good neighbors and good. And I think that we should, and I go for that. We should give them a letter of support. Anyone second?
Okay, that was a motion. Okay,
Yes.
Is there a second?
I second Jamie Wiseman.
Thank you, Jamie. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. Thank you, everyone. And moving on now to the next recommendation for permits and licenses regarding the new applicants for their various licenses. Is everyone comfortable putting them all together and doing a blanket vote? I'm seeing some heads. Does anyone need me to
make a recommendation that we do a blanket vote?
Okay. Okay. And is there a motion from the board?
Second, is there a second for a blanket vote? We have to go through the blanket vote first. All in favor?
Okay. So
it's going to be for the blanket vote first, and then we do the vote. Okay?
Understood. So all in favor for a blanket vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. Okay. Now, is there a motion regarding the actual applicants?
Yes, I make a motion that we give all the establishment for the permit.
Jerry Valentine, second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I'm abstaining, Raul Rubio.
Okay. One abstention. Raul. So moved. Thank you, everyone. Are there any other recommendations?
No.
Okay. Hearing none, we can move on now to old business. Any old business? No. Okay. Hearing none. New business? None. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, the Environmental Transportation Committee meets next week. So this is more just like a question on process, but I would like for us as a
We can't hear you, Sammy.
We lost you.
board to have a. Do you hear?
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah. So it's more like a question or a guidance on
Sure.
process. So I see there's no report on transportation because it meets next week. The Environmental and Transportation Committee, and I wanted to see how, as a board, we can have a discussion, a more intentional conversation, and whether that's joining the next meeting of the Transportation Committee next week to discuss the car crashes and the cyclist crashes that are being impacting Bushwick greatly. As some might know, a woman 29 years old was killed this month in Bushwick Avenue, and there was a media report that highlight that just in the past year and a half, there has been 4,000 crashes in all of the area of Bushwick. That means one every 36 minutes. So, sorry, 36 crashes per day in Bushwick. That means like trucks, cars, cyclists. So this is not a new conversation for this committee, but I do think that this death and the reactions that I saw on social media to the news coverage of dozens and dozens of Bushwick residents sharing their stories of how they were just one step away from death. I'm also sometimes a cyclist in the community, and I've been one of those times that I almost hit in the street. So we do know that the city bikes were not consulted, and the first phase, and the city pedestrian bike lanes are not protected. So just to see how can we find any recommendation as a board to request to the board Department of Transportation we need urgent action to increase safety for all pedestrians and everyone. Just to share that.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you. Hang on. Yeah,
just-
Mr. Camacho, just briefly, really quick, I just want to make sure if Luisa Chan still on from?
Still here.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, just want to make sure. So between Luisa and Mr. Camacho, I'll let you go, and if you miss anything,
Yeah, I also when I heard and read that me and Celeste wrote letters to the A3, and we also wrote letters to the commissioners. So maybe Luisa can also fill in that, and we answered them back, and we want some answers, and I guess Celeste will fill you in, and Miss Chang fill you in on what we been doing in regards to that.
Sammy, thank you very much for bringing that up. When we heard about the news of the woman who, the fatality, we immediately reached out to the Commissioner of Transportation to, emphasize her concerns and re-emphasize the need for a safety study in Bushwick. And so we are reaching out to them, and hopefully, they've I don't know if they've necessarily agreed to something specifically, but they responded to that message. So I think Celeste will probably continue to work on behalf of the community board to get some answers. But in that letter, we had requested that they commit to looking at a safety study in Bushwick because of the very high incidence of fatality rates or accidents in the community. And also, like, I as chair also asked that the commissioner come send a transportation agency member to speak to us about some of the ideas or plans that they have for our community. So we'll continue to follow up on that.
and I can send the letter. So tomorrow I'll send the letter to all board members, just so you have a copy of the letter that was sent. So it was the holiday last Wednesday. We still made sure that it got out right away, because this isn't something new, as you mentioned, Sammy, and all of our board members, especially those that have been on the board for a long time, asking for a study is not a new request for DOT. It's been a part of the statement of community district needs for decades, I imagine, at this point. And I think that this was, unfortunately, one of those moments where we had to, again, reach out to the agency to really, not just say, hey, this is something that's needed, but basically say this is past time, because so many people at risk at really what shouldn't be happening in the first place. So a preventable tragedy. So thank you, Sammy, and thank you, Mr. Camacho and Luisa. Anything else, new business? All right. Seeing none, we're going to go into announcements, and I do have some folks who reached out in advance. I want to make sure they have an opportunity. Just give me one moment so I can scroll through the list. I have Kit. Kit, if you're still with us, I'm going to mute you now. Are you there, Kit?
I'm still here. Can you hear me, Celeste?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Kit Satong. I am a student at the CUNY School of Public Health, and I lived in Bushwick over the summer. I worked a little bit with Sure We Can, and I lived right on Menhan and Evergreen and did some research on food insecurity. I just wanted to bring attention to a current City Council Bill 0802-2018, which is a bill that will require the Department of Education to donate all unconsumed meals to local food bank organizations. It's just an additional step to help with food insecurity in all boroughs in New York City. I just wanted to bring attention to that and make sure that everyone on this community board was aware. My time at Bushwick, I saw a lot of lines just wrapped around blocks at food pantries, and I thought it would be beneficial to bring attention to it. And this is my first community board meeting ever, so this was a really cool experience, and thank you so much for the opportunity to speak.
Welcome. Thank you. All right. And we also have,
I hope the study was good.
all right. So Raul Rubio, just give me one moment. Raul, if you're ready.
Yes. How you doing? So just a quick announcement. I know that Thomas isn't here from the library, so I'm going to make this announcement for him. Tomorrow, the Bushwick and the DeKalb libraries are partnered with the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene, and we're going to be doing a COVID-19 mental health presentation. It's a virtual presentation that's happening tomorrow, Thursday. It starts at 3:30 p.m.
Okay.
We can't hear you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know. Somehow I got muted again. So again, it's a 1-hour presentation. It's going to be in conjunction with the Bushwick and DeKalb libraries, happening tomorrow at 3:30. If you look, there's a link in the chat to be able to register for the training. It going to be talking about like COVID, its effects on depression, anxiety, understanding and dealing with grief. It's going to also have some information about some local resources through the city, and some apps and other programs that people can kind of like tap into. This is what I used to do and talk about the mental health first aid, but the Department of Health is kind of changing gears and wants to do something a little bit more to kind of address what's going on right now with the people of New York. Particularly as we start getting closer to a possible opening, anxiety issues are going to come up. We're talking about dealing with stuff from the election, the racial equity issues that we've been dealing with, and the fact that now we're also talking about coming into that third wave where we're getting like spikes. And so it's a way to start a conversation about how to address self-care and how to be able to talk to maybe some of your neighbors and family members that might be going through something as well. So again, it's free training tomorrow at 3 o'clock. It's only 1 hour. It's, just click on the link and you can register there, and hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Could you send it to Celeste so we can send it to everyone?
Yeah, no problem.
Yep. The flyer, yeah.
Actually, it should be. It should be in the newsletter, in fact. So.
Yeah. All right. And then I do see, so Tom did send me a message in the chat. Just give me one moment. Tom, if you're there, I'm muting you. Tom, if you want to just share some other information about the library. You're unmuted. Okay. Maybe there's a technical issue. I did see a message from him in the chat. So if anything else, if there are any other announcements, please feel free to include it in the chat. We ask that everybody just leave it in the chat. If I saw it in advance, I would have called on you. I don't see anything else. Board members, any announcements? Going once, going twice? No. And then our elected officials, I know usually have announcements as well. Yeah, I'm going to go through the list.
Please. Oh.
Okay, John, if you're still there, I'm going to mute you. Any announcements,
Yes.
John?
Yeah, I'm still here. Thank you for having me once again. I just wanted to share that the Council District 37 team sent out a November newsletter that went out on November 12th last week. A ton of information in there. I hope it's useful and helpful. And as always, we're still doing constituent services. Thank you.
Got it. Thank you. All right, Jackie, I'm going to mute you now. Jackie, any announcements?
Nope, nothing right now.
Got it. Thank you. All right. And Evelyn, if you're there.
Hi, everyone. You all. I have Julio making announcements. I want to wish everyone wellness, let you know that the Congresswoman continues to fight and advocate for those issues that are near and dear to us. As we enter the new administration, you can count on us to fight for the COVID funding, the education piece, housing, etc. So we'll be sending out more information shortly, but I just wanted to say hello. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I will go to Julio. 1 second. Let's see. All right, Julio, you're unmuted.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Hey, Celeste. Hello, Mr. Chair and all the board members.
1.3.
Leave me alone. My time hasn't started yet. Just fairly quick, a few updates. I know an issue that's very near and dear to the chairman is small businesses, all our corridors. Just some figures that I wanted to share with you in regards to some of the federal funds, PPP funds. Throughout the members district, there was 1.5 billion that was distributed, and EIDL funds, there was approximately 18 million throughout the members congressional district. Those are funds that our businesses need. The member knows that there's more work to be done, so that's something that's going to be on her agenda in the coming session. Additionally, we did receive a number of calls today. I know a few members that are in the meeting here in regards to some heating concerns at Hope Gardens. We were able to work that out with management. As of 1 hour ago, an hour and a half ago, heating is fully up and running at Hope Gardens, so we can count that our neighbors in Hope Gardens have heat, and hopefully it will remain like that. And finally, any federal concerns, postal Social Security, stimulus checks, we're still receiving some of those concerns as well. Immigration, always feel free to reach out. Phone number is 718-599-3658. Thank you.
Yeah, you took a long time. But listen, in regards to what, do you have a breakdown on what area got what on Bushwick, or you wouldn't?
I do have that, not on me right now, but I can share that to you.
Could you send it to Celeste, please, like that? We know who got what and what else is needed. Because we have Wyckoff, we have Knickerbocker, we have Broadway, we have stuff that people really need. So we want to make sure if the second round comes around, make sure that people got to be in it to win it. And also, if you want to put the heat on, we was going to go over there now, and I would have got you, because those people need to step up their game and start giving services to our people in that area. So thank you for that.
No worries. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I know you advocate. We all together on our monthly meetings with the management. We hold their feet to the fire. So we'll do that together. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. And Marcus, if you're there, I'm going to unmute you.
I am here still. I just want to let everybody know that just go to brooklyn-usa.org. It has the current month's newsletter. In addition, the borough president will be doing a third phase of honoring Brooklyn COVID heroes, those people who have done a lot to support the community. If you go on brooklyn-usa.org, you have until December 4th to actually nominate either an organization, a business, or individual for all the work that they have been doing. Once all nominations are received, a decision will be made on which ones will be honored, and we will host a virtual service. So again, brooklyn-usa.org, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You too. And let him know he better get one of our people from Bushwick.
Thank you.
Because I seen people up there. I saw the picture and everything, and I didn't see nobody from Bushwick, because I know a lot of people that are doing good work here and helping the people in this community. You should be surprised in the lines that people out there, and they're giving food and doing services in this pandemic and making sure they take care of themselves too at the same time.
You let me know who, and I'll make sure I submit it for you.
Got it.
All right. Thanks, Marcus. Great. Moving us on, Taika, if you're there, I'm going to
The
unmute you.
comptroller's plan is that the city should offer subsidized and redeemable internet passports for low-income families to purchase broadband service from providers in the areas. The comptroller outlined solutions to these challenges, recommending that the city convene all of the internet service providers as well and carriers operating in the 5 boroughs to discuss all possible options to quickly provide affordable and reliable internet to every student in the city who lacks a high-speed broadband connection. And I will drop the link to our report in the chat as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dan Wiley from Nydia Velasquez's office.
All
right.
Okay. So if there are any other announcements, now's the time, board members. Also, I don't know if there's anything else that anyone would like to share. I know we have Willie Morales is also on this evening. Willie, I don't know if you have any announcements, anything you want to share. Now's the time. Okay. And just to know.
Hello, everybody.
Go ahead, Willie.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And I just want to announce that I am retiring. You know, got the letter from the former president office that on the 22nd, you know, I could leave.
Did everybody catch that?
No. Willie, we want to. I want to thank you for your service because I know your whole family was from Bushwick. I know your family and your loved ones. You were born and raised in Bushwick, and I know your heart was always in Bushwick. And we want to thank you for all your services, Willie. We're gonna miss you, and I know you need to take care of home first, but we're gonna miss you.
It's the end of an era, Willie.
Huh?
It's the end of an era.
Exactly, yeah.
Wow, Willie.
Well, I'm going to miss those sunglasses. I'm telling you, I'm going to miss those sunglasses.
You can stay, man. You can play baseball.
That was good. I'm
want.
gonna miss them too. I'm gonna miss that hairdo, you know.
Hey, leave Willie alone. He's a baseball player.
And Willie, how many years of service?
32 years.
Wow.
Wow.
Like Camacho.
Thank you. Papichulo.
Like Camacho, you have the same time like Camacho. Thank you,
Yeah.
Willie, for everything you did.
Yes.
Congratulations, Willie. Thank you very much for your service.
Thank you, Willie. You're the best.
I can't hear him. Yeah, you sound a little bit, Willie, you sound a little bit far away.
Willie, you sound like you're in Puerto Rico.
You sound like you're already retired.
Like a
You ain't retired and you still on the clock.
I'm actually on my Bluetooth on my car, picking up my
Oh. Okay, well.
Oh, let him go. Let him
All right,
go.
well, be safe. Be safe, Will.
Be safe and go driving, but make sure you talk to this lady to give you some more broadband service.
Hey, Celeste, I just
Yes,
have
Josh?
one announcement. Yeah.
Go ahead.
And CB3, they're currently going to be dealing with a local law that was passed that will be affecting Bushwick next year. It's local law 152. I'll be doing a future presentation on it, but I just asked the board to take a note that this is a law that will impact everyone in Bushwick moving forward, specifically property owners. And it's just something I want to give a heads up for, as I believe this will negatively impact 3 family homeowners as well as those who own commercial businesses. So I'll be speaking about it further locally with Bushwick, and I'm hopefully with our elected officials so that this doesn't impact us in a detrimental way, just as CB3 is experiencing this now.
Got it. Thank you, Josh.
Celeste, I'd like to add to that. This is Annette Spelling. 152 is not going to affect us in Bushwick until 2022. However, we need the information now because what happened with Bed-Stuy was that they were notified at the last minute, and it's affecting them poorly. They have to have this done by December 31st, and if they don't, it can cost the homeowner $12,000 and a fine. So this is very important information that we need.
Very
It's
important.
not only for the homeowners, but it's for our churches as well.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a very important matter that will affect them. Yeah.
Yes. We'll make sure we take care of it.
Local law 152.
So, and just so everyone knows, in this month's newsletter, the first agency notice, I'm pretty sure, if not the first, the second, was NYC Buildings Local Law 152. So take a look.
Just one other thing for that, Celeste. You mentioned that this is for 3-family homeowners. Well, one of the things that we found out is that although you may think you have a 2-family home, you need to check with the Department of Finance to see what their status is for you. Because what they're finding is that some people who think that they have 2 families are being held by finance as 3 families. This is a very involved piece of information that we need to get out to our people.
Yeah, it's another thing that is bad enough that they're taking the 2 and 3 family homes and knocking them down and making them big buildings. Now they want to hit us in our pockets to get rid of us somehow. And we need to make sure that we speak to the elected officials to make sure they stop that. So this, I think Barbara's just trying to get on.
Okay, Barbara has an announcement, you mean? Okay, give me one moment. All right. Barbara, you there?
Yeah.
Go for it.
I just want to tell my whole Bristol community, I want to thank them all for all the help they gave the 83rd Precinct during this pandemic. I was doing shopping for some unfortunate families, and I'm so happy that my Vice President, Ivana Davis, told me to open up a Cash App. And with people dropping money in our Cash App, we were able to shop for over 100 people. So I just want to thank everyone that donated, and we won't be able to do Thanksgiving baskets this year. I'm only concentrating on the public schools because I think like this. The kids that's going to be home doing work from home, they're eating a lot of food. So I reached out to all 15 public schools and asked the parent-teachers coordinators to give me 4 families out of each school. And the precinct council is going to give them a turkey meal, a fresh turkey. And everybody shopped at Food Bazaar because they donated 15 turkeys to the precinct council and $500 voucher to buy groceries. So I want to thank everyone that helped us out this whole time and keep helping us out. And anything the 83rd Precinct Community Council can do for you guys, just reach out and call me. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Barbara.
Barbara, what is your Cash App handle?
Don't ask me that. I'll text it to you. I might say the wrong thing.
I got you.
Hey, Marcus. If Marcus is still there from the borough president's office, we got one. That means you're going to have that whole Bushwick stairs full with Bushwick people.
Am I really?
Yes, you are. So don't be picking and choosing. We're going to have a lot of people there.
And our Cash App is for real because one of my sergeants from the 83rd Precinct dropped money in the Cash App. So you know it has to be on track. And yes, I thank you guys for all your support. And have a happy Thanksgiving.
You too, Barbara.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
You too,
just
Barbara.
a quick note, it's less of an announcement, but just to let everyone know, the board's office has received multiple emails regarding the beautiful historic mansion at 1001 Bushwick Avenue. Unfortunately, and I believe it's been at least a couple of years now that the property changed ownership, and they're looking to redevelop and most likely demolish the mansion and turn it into state.
Oh, no.
But again, this is why, right, when we were talking about historic preservation, cons, but the less protections, right, can be a tool to protect the character of the neighborhood. And without it, unfortunately, we're going to keep seeing these types of things happen. So we've been having conversations. I did reach out to Jen from Councilmember Reynoso's office, so they're aware. And hopefully we'll be able to get the group, because it wasn't just one person, but multiple neighbors have reached out. They would like to save the building. Unfortunately, if the owner, right, who seems to have other plans about development, if they're not in favor, it's very tricky when it comes to preservation. And it's unlikely that this building will be saved. It's not a lost cause at this point, but if more people want information, please let me know. And Ann, yes, I have to speak to you about this. This is definitely a housing and land use issue.
Yeah, we need to protect our community, man, because now we're going to be like Manhattan.
Yes, and I also just got a message in the chat from Tom from the library. He just said, thank you for the invitation. The meeting was very informative. He wished everyone a happy Thanksgiving. He tried to speak. I think there was a technical issue. I did unmute him earlier a couple of times. And then he said, have a good night, everyone. So with that being said, that closes our announcements portion. That takes us to our second roll call. All right, and I believe, let's get it started. Board members, please be ready with your features, mute and unmute. I have Oldhoff Wright. James Wiseman.
Here.
Carlotta Williams.
I'm here.
Barry Valentine. Annette Spellin.
Here.
Dustin Somborn. Bernardina Shell. Julio Salinas. Raul Rubio.
President, one of those boxes in front of you.
Gladys Pulia. Gladys Pulia, I saw you trying earlier.
I'm here.
Got you, I got you. Okay, Asire.
Present.
Got you. Zuma Navoa.
Oh, present.
Sammy Namir. Sammy was here earlier. Sammy, are you there?
Yes, here.
Okay, got you. Desmond Monroe. Joy McClellan. Luisa Jose.
Here.
Virgie Jones. Cheryl Jones. Kristen Jock.
Here.
Barbara Jackson.
Here.
Misha Honeygan.
Present.
Jose Guzman.
Present.
Migdalia Gutierrez. Ann Guiney.
Present.
Igari Gomez.
Present.
Freddie Fowler. James Fitzgerald is excused. Victoria Fernandez. Albina Davis.
Present.
Daniela Davi.
Present.
Luisa Chan.
Present.
Felix Ceballos.
Yes.
Melissa Carrera is excused. Guardia Caphart.
Present.
Robert Camacho.
Present. Love you so. Happy
Rob
Thanksgiving.
Present.
Got you. Joshua Brown.
Present.
And Reverend Grace Aites.
Present.
Thank you, everyone. Is there a motion from the board to adjourn?
So move.
Yes, I make a motion that we adjourn.
Barbara made a motion. Is there a second?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, everyone.
That's better. You look all sexy there.
All in favor?
You got your donut.
Thank you.
Love you guys.
Thank you, Salette.
Moved. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night.
Hey, guys.
Thanksgiving. Bye.
See you in a couple of weeks.
Everybody.